guys, it's Trail over at goHUNT, and today, November 14th, Mathews has launched their brand new target lineup of bows. This is the Mathews Lift. I've had this Mathews Lift for about a month and a half, 2 months, shot in Elk, Colorado with it. So I've had a good chance to put it through its paces, set it up, tune it, play with it, shoot it. So I'm just going to run through kind of the elementary specs first and foremost. So I just want to touch on what this bow actually is. Then towards the end, I'm going to touch on some of the features, and then I'm also going to give you some of my thoughts and ideas. Also this year, instead of just running through the specs with the bow, we actually want to do some real world testing. So we've got a decibel meter, so we're going to do some testing with sound. We're going to test that against some bows we've had around the office, including Lorenzo's beloved Halon X. We want to see what the improvement potentially is in the brand new Mathews bows over some of the older models. So I've got several bows kicking around. We're also going to do some foot per second testing this year. We've got some arrows of different weights. I got a 400 grain arrow, 450, 480, 500, maybe even 500 plus grain arrows. We just want to do some testing and see what we can get out of this bow in terms of feet per second. So we want to do some real world testing, and then tomorrow we'll probably pop up to the range, do some long range shooting with this bow, and just give you guys an idea of how this bow shoots and what it looks like. So with that, I'm just going to run through the specs. This bow will be available in 2 different axle to axle lengths. You have the option for a 29.5-inch axle or a 33-inch axle. That 29.5-inch option being potentially better for guys that are hunting out of a tree stand or out of a blind. Or they have the 33-inch model, which is my personal favorite. It's a good option, I think, for taller guys that want a less steep string angle. And then also, I think it's a great option for Western big game hunters. It gives you a little bit more added stability with the length of the riser and the full axle to axle length. This bow is faster than the Phase 4, so you're getting a pretty decent bump in foot per second. The Phase 4 33 was about 336 feet per second. This Lift 33, you're getting up to 343 feet per second, so that's a nice little bump. The 29.5-inch model, you're going to get actually almost 350, so that's 348 feet per second, so it's definitely a bump in speed. Brace height, so the brace height on the 33-inch model is going to be 6.5. You go to the 29.5-inch model, you're actually going to have a 6-inch flat brace height. Brace height being that distance between the burger hole and your string. As that shortens up, you might imagine you get more power strokes, so you get a little bit of a speed bump. You lengthen that out a little bit, you might be a little bit more forgiving because the string is going to get rid of the arrow quicker. So slight difference in the 2 different brace heights, and like I said, that's probably where the 29.5-inch model is picking up that extra feet per second. Personally, 6.5, I really like it. I feel like it is kind of a good happy medium. You get plenty of foot per second, but I also feel like I don't lose anything in terms of forgiveness with this bow. Mass weight of this bow is a pretty decent bump for this bow, in my opinion, this year, meaning that it's lighter. It's a lighter weight option. You're going from a bow in the Phase 4 was maybe 4.68. I believe this brand new Mathews Lift 33 is going to be 4.26 pounds. If you jump to the 29.5-inch model, that bow is actually 3.99 pounds, so sub 4 pounds bare bow. These 2024 bows have a brand new cam. This is the Switchweight X cam. You've probably been familiar with the previous cam, which is the Switchweight cam. As far as functionality goes, it still gives you the option to rotate mods or get new mods to change out your draw length or your draw weight or your let off. So these are available in either 80 or 85% let off just simply by switching the mods. You can also change your draw length by switching mods, and you can also change your draw weight. So this is going to be available in a 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, and 80 pounds this year. So for guys that have been asking and wanting an 80-pound draw weight bow, you now have the ability to shoot an 80-pound bow for you behemoths out there. I've tinkered probably more with this bow in the last 2 months than any other bow I've owned in ages, so I definitely can give you some real honest feedback. So drop me a comment, shoot me a DM, let me know if you got questions. So with that, let's do some shooting. All right, guys, I have the brand new Mathews Lift 33. We're gonna do some real world speed testing. We're gonna shoot this thing through a chrono. I wanna give you guys an idea of what different arrow weights produce in foot per second. So Starting out with the 415 grain arrow, we're going to shoot this through the chrono. My draw length 30 inches, so this is the 30-inch mods. These are 80% let-off mods. We're going to take the Last Chance Archery bow scale, pull it back, see what we get as far as weight goes, just to confirm it's 70 pounds. These are 70-pound limbs, 70-pound mods. So we'll just pull that back, and we're going to shoot some arrows here in a second and give you some real-world ideas on what you might expect from speed. All right, so we are looking at 70.1, so exactly spot on. Draw length, like I said, 30 inches. I've got the cables, if you can see that, running immediately through the hole on both. Cams are perfectly timed, bow's perfectly tuned, shooting perfect bullet holes with my gold tip Pierce arrows. So let's do some testing. Let's get some real world numbers on what this thing is shooting foot per second. All right, first arrow, this is the lightest arrow we're gonna shoot. This is a Victory VAP Elite, a 166 arrow and a 300 spine. Total weight on this arrow finish is 415 grains. So we're gonna shoot some arrows through the chrono and just see how it does. .312 feet per second. All right, so first arrow was 415 grains total finished. You're shooting about 310, 312 feet per second. Next arrow is a gold tip Pierce LRT. This is my personal hunting arrow. This is what I'm taking into the field with me. Total finished grains on it is 460 grains. It's a 300 spine, so let's shoot it and see what it looks like. .296. That's pretty fast for a 460 grain arrow. Let's shoot one more just to confirm, but 296 feet per second is pretty much the fastest arrow I've shot in a while. Arrow number 2, 460 grains. 295. So 295, 296, so you're about 295 feet per second with a 460 grain arrow. All right, next up, I have a Victory VAP SS. So this is the stainless steel carbon blend. This is a 300 spine. I've got a 125 grain head on the end of a 50 grain insert. Total finished arrow weight on this is just over 500, so it's like 507. So we're gonna shoot that, see what we get. This would be probably like a perfect arrow weight for a lot of elk hunters, a lot of guys that are hunting big game out west. Plenty of speed, I assume, and then it also ought to be great for penetration. So we'll shoot this through and just see what we get. .283. Shoot one more. .282. So 283, 282, 507 grain arrow. Next arrow up, we're going to do a heavy one. We'll grab a Easton FMJ. This would be for you guys that really like a heavy arrow, and we'll just see where it comes up. But 282, 283 feet per second for an arrow that weighs 507 grains is pretty dang good. That's kind of the sweet spot for where a lot of us want to be. You guys that are shooting fixed blade heads, that ought to be right in your wheelhouse. It should be pretty easy to tune. You should have great penetration. So happy with that number for sure. We'll grab this FMJ and we'll see what it does. Got an Easton FMJ, total finished arrow weight. This is about 545 grains. So it's definitely on the upper end of what I would suggest for most people. It's a little bit heavy. It's gonna pack a wallop for sure. We'll just shoot this through and see how it does. My guess is it's probably gonna be, I don't know, maybe 274, 272, something like that maybe. .273. We'll shoot one more just to confirm it. 273 though for a 550 grain arrow is pretty fast. .273. So 273 on both of those arrows. So that's a 545 grain arrow, 273 foot per second. All right, so that concludes our speed test, foot per second for the Mathews Lift 33. Just run through and kind of conclude the results. I have a 415 grain arrow total finish weight. That one came in about 310 feet per second. My own personal hunting arrow, the gold tip Pierce arrow, it's about 460 grains. Average speed on that was 296, smoking fast. I feel good about that. I have a Victory SS 300 spine. Total finished arrow weight on that one was 507 grains. That one came in at an average about 283 feet per second. And lastly, I have the Lincoln log, if you will, the Easton Full Metal Jacket 5mm 300 spine, weighing in at 545 grains. That one was shooting an average of about 273 feet per second. So that's what you can expect in terms of results, foot per second, for the brand new Mathews bows. Like I said in the intro, I can definitely tell you that this bow is shooting faster than my older bows, and it's every bit as comfortable to draw and shoot. 296 feet per second with a 460 grain arrow. I feel phenomenal about that, especially in hunting situations where you have to make a judgment on yardage. I love the fact that I can shoot a flatter trajectory. I feel really good about those opportunities and taking those shots. So next up, we're gonna do some sound testing. We've got a decibel meter. We're gonna do some tinkering. All right, so I've got the brand new Mathews Lift 33. I've got my arrow, which is 460 grains. It's a gold tip LRT. We're just gonna shoot the same arrow, so that 460 grain arrow, through the brand new bow, and then we're also going to shoot it through a Mathews V3X 33, and then also Lorenzo's Halon X, which he's had for a number of years. So we just want to compare the three different bows. Some of them have got some different components. I'll touch on those as we go through and shoot them, but we just want to see what they read on the decibel meter. So first bow, brand new Mathews Lift 33, 460 grain gold tip arrow.
46.6.
Okay, it's consistent.
I like that. .4.
58. All right, so we kind of concluded, did a bunch of shooting. The lift decibels recorded was 46, the V3X 47, and then Lorenzo's Halon X was 57, so almost 10 decibels louder. We shot a bunch of rounds and I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty consistent. I can say that the lift is definitely quieter than the other two, only a little bit quieter than maybe the V3X, but it's significantly quieter than Lorenzo's Halon X, so looks like he'll be updating. But that's kind of fun. We'll do some shooting tomorrow. We're gonna run up to the range, maybe do some long range stuff, but I can tell you that it's a pretty quiet bow. It was fun to just confirm it. My suspicions were that it was quite a bit quieter. But yeah, it's fun. So we'll jump up to the range tomorrow and do some shooting and just show you what we can do with the lift. All right, so I got the brand new Mathews Lift 33. We're just out here in the Las Vegas desert. Gonna do a little shooting. Cold bow, haven't shot any arrows this morning. 80 yards, first arrow. Here we go, first arrow, cold bow, 80 yarder. Hot. All right, so we're gonna bump it back to 101 yards, see how it does. Bow seems to hold really well. Kind of feels like shooting a target bow on a hunting bow platform. It's just stable, but we'll see how we do at 100, 101. Fuck. How far? Not much. All right, we're gonna jump it back to 101 yards. Shot really good at 80. We'll see how it does at 101. Needed a yard. Nope. Hey! Hell yes, delayed pop. All right, so my 2024 bow, this is a Mathews Lift 33-inch axle-to-axle bow. Accessories, I've got the QAD Ultra Rest, which is dovetailed right into the riser, which is a nice little perk. It is a cable-driven rest. I've got the Mathews bridge lock stabilizers, so I've got a 10-inch back bar, I've got a 12-inch front bar, I've got 3 ounces of weight on the front bar and 5 on the back. I am using the Mathews sidebar bracket, which is nice because these bars are both very easily to remove. So if I want to take those off, throw it on my pack, and bust brush, I can do that and just pop those in my pack. They basically just come off with a little lever here on the sidebar bracket. And then you've got the bracket or this little engagement screw that kind of holds in your front stabilizer. Sight, I'm using the UltraView slider sight. This is a killer sight. I've got it in a 2-pin configuration just because I can get 19 pins and I can see those a little bit better with my older eyes. I've got that sighted in all the way. I think I can get about 110 yards with my middle pin. If I use that second pin, I can get actually all the way out to about 120 maybe. So I have tons of range with that just to have some fun and play with. Specs on the bow, 30-inch draw, 70 pounds. I believe I pulled it back with the last chance scale yesterday. I was at 70.1 pounds, so it was pretty much right in spec. Arrow setup, I'm shooting gold tip Pierce LRT arrows. I've got a 55 grain Easton half out insert, 100 grain filled tip, or broadheads, which I'll be hunting with, which is the Sever Titanium 1.5. Vanes, I'm shooting 4 bony heat vanes. I really like those vanes. They're super stiff, quiet. I like the 4 fletch configuration, even though I hate fletching that many vanes. I like that just because I can index and rotate those arrows 1 more degree as I'm nock tuning. I do use the collars in these arrows. I feel like if you're shooting a lot of arrows over a year, it does save you some arrows just from deflections. It would probably blow out the back of the carbon if I didn't use those. And then I have just the standard gold tip 166 nocks. I am shooting, we shot it through the chrono yesterday, 296 feet per second out of this bow, 70 pounds, 30-inch draw, 33-inch axle to axle, 460 grain hunting arrow. So for me, that's a pretty killer setup. I'm pushing 300 feet per second in a hunting arrow that I feel good about taking into the elk woods or mule deer, antelope, anything. So super fast, hard hitting arrow, quiet bow, easy to draw, easy to shoot. So check out that Mathews Lift 33 or the 29.5. I love it. I've taken to this bow really quick, and I think with some more time behind it, I'm gonna like it even that much more. So check your local pro dealer, shoot the brand new Mathews Lift for 2024.